Well, hello, everybody, and welcome back. I'm AJ O'Neill, and we're gonna get this thing, Zig. We're gonna get Zig on Webi. That's where. Oh, let's get. Yeah. Oh, moving over. There we are, and then Webi. Yeah. So basically, I've been. Let me just go ahead and start off with a couple of bits of information for you. So there is a talk that I don't remember. I think the way that I encountered Zig, which is a programming language, it's kind of maybe to say a replacement for C. I think is the best way to say it. It also can be a replacement for C++, but it's like Rust, kind of, but very different goals. Zig is not trying to be what Rust is trying to be. But it's a very simple looking C-ish language. I say C-ish because it has all the things that C doesn't have that make C terrible. It has namespaces, it has good build tooling, it can cross-compile easily. In fact, I mean, here's oh, and it also has one thing I don't know of any other language that has this that Zig has. It's great. Is instead of having macros, you program in the programming language, and if you want something to be evaluated at compile time, that's the replacement for the macro. So you can have the one use case that the guy gives is generic, so you can have with just having it run the code, do the metaprogramming at compile time is what you can do. Anyway, there's this great talk that I'm going to reference that is called On the Road to Zig 1.0, I think it is. I'm going to go ahead and put that in here. I just thought this was an excellent talk. If this is the one, The Road to Zig 1.0, yes. This is absolutely excellent. This is just, it's more, again, you know me. It's all about software engineering for me. This is, I love it. Love it. I just love languages and people and whatever that's about software engineering. And this talk, yes, it's about the language Zig, but more than it's about the language Zig, it's about good software engineering principles. Hey, Great Wolf, welcome back. So I'm going to put this in the chat. The Road to Zig 1.0. Was it V1? What did they call it? Zig 1.0. So yeah, this is really about software engineering. Let me just put that in there. Hey, what's up, Johannes? How you doing? You missed my stream about trying to get evicted, or at least I didn't see you in there. If you were, I just did that one. That's a fun one to catch up on. If you want to go check, it should be in the VOD or on the YouTubes. But stay here for now. Don't leave yet. Oh, and I already popped a top, my friends, and I can only pop so many per day. I exceed that limit quite often, but I'm not exceeding it today. And this is still half full, so no intro with a faux word from our faux, not a real sponsor. Actually, that's a double negative, but whatever. Just a little sip of focus. Okay, word from the wise. Don't try to sip a Mountain Dew the way that they have the women that are talking to each other over some snowfield with their not hoodies, what do you call those beanies on? You know, in the movies, there's always that scene where the two women are huddled next to each other and they're sipping their coffee or something. Don't try to drink a Mountain Dew that way. Don't do it. Okay. Oh, also, other note, I moved, the screen is here now. Instead of being over here, you know how I'm always looking over here? Well, now the screen's over here. In fact, you know what I had to do? I had to move the mic over here too. Oh, look at that. We can move the mic over here. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. So now, oh, perfect. Perfect. So now the screen is over here and the mic is over here. I don't know what we do. One of the reasons I didn't move the screen, the dumbest reason ever, by the way. Sorry, I'm already getting on a tangent. One of the reasons I didn't move this screen is I thought, well, I bought 4 screens, but if I move this screen over here, what will I use this one for? Then I just have an extra screen that's not doing anything. Yep. So now I don't know what I'm going to do with this screen. But I guess when I'm doing my work when I'm not streaming, I'll use it for something. But yeah, now I've got my comments here, just a little down, and I've got this thing here. So Let me catch up on comments already. Haven't heard of Zig. When did it come out? Zig came out, I think. Let me look at my. I probably could look right here and tell you, but I'm going to go to my BYU 2022 presentation and click on the software engineering's greatest hits. And then from there, I have the greatest archaeological documents of all time. So Zig is new. 2017 is when it seems to, well, at least when they had the 0.1 documentation is where Zen of Zig started. I should have linked to that here in the documentation. But I'm going to do more of an overview on Zig when I'm going to do my first program on Zig, because I actually have not written other than the Hello World. I haven't done anything, and I am going to stream that when I do it. But since I feel at this point I'm committed to Zig is going to be part of my life in a way that, again, I run the Rust meetup. I think Rust is important. I like Zig more. And the other question, let's see. How are you? I'm doing good, other than a little bit of legal issue that I'm trying to sort out with my landlord, that I am entirely convinced, especially after the last stream and going over Utah law in front of everybody, I am entirely convinced that they are acting outside of the law and outside of the contract. After reviewing more of the contract yet again and more of Utah law, I believe that our initial reading of the contract was the correct reading, which is the reading that is the way that I won't go into that here. Okay. But yeah, I looked into it shortly, but had to go off because of other stuff. Zig is, I think that there's a really easy sell for Zig. And one of the conference talks that I reference here in Software Engineering's Greatest Hits is this one about functional programming. I need to put all of these at the beginning. I need to have all of these referenced, and I need to have Creeds of Craftsmanship referenced over here. Hey, Josh, would you please remind me, put in my to-do list, to aggregate the talks that are in this list and put them on the first slide. I try to do that with all my presentations, put all the best material in the first slide, so that if you get there just because you want to get to the links, all the links are in the first slide or so. But this one, why isn't functional programming the norm? He talks about whatever it was that I just said that I was going to make a point about, which now I don't remember. Let me go read the comment again. He talks about one of the things that makes a language gain adoption is if it's really easy to drop in. I think this was this talk where he talks about it. And Zig can compile C and C++ better than GCC and GPP can. So, and it works better on Windows. So Zig is a better C compiler. So if you wanted to do nothing else rather than compile C programs better, Zig is a better C compiler. It's essentially acts as a front end for, LLVM is kind of what they say. And so that's a really easy sell. You don't have to adopt Zig in your organization. You can simply use Zig to make existing processes better. But then while you're using Zig, why not use Zig a little as well? So that's kind of, I already realized that there's enough benefits to Zig that even if it never catches on as a language, it can make the processes that I care about better, even if I don't program in it. So from that perspective, I think Zig has a unique value. And if I'm not mistaken, Zig could be used to compile Rust code. Zig can be used to compile Go code. So if you need CGO, then Zig may be a better option than the tooling that Go ships with. Plus, you get to write Zig when you actually need Zig. Anyway, we'll go into this more when I do my Zig video, because like I said, I have not actually written a program other than the Hello World. I've not written a program that will run yet. I'm struggling with some of the concepts that look too similar and too different from other things I'm familiar with. Particularly around the if statements was one thing I got mixed up, because it looks like it could be an expression. Again, I'm rambling on and on. Yeah. Yeah, Zig can be a C and C++ compiler. So this is one of the things where I think that Rust has an entry point in the market that's unique in that Rust code can be more or less perfect. Zig has an entry point in the market in that it can make C, C++, Rust, and Go easier to compile when there's C and C++ involved. I have heard of VLang. In fact, one of the company's local sponsored VLang, my understanding is that it was meant to be a more C-like Go. If you could get me some material that would convince me that I should be involved in VLang, maybe I could. There were some things I saw with it that were good. Oh, hey, Resources Co., how's it going? Welcome to the channel. But I jive with what this Andrew dude has to say, which whatever. I just jive with what he has to say. He makes sense to me. He's come to many of the same conclusions that I've come to, and he's expanded upon conclusions that I've come to. So I feel that I learned from him. And yeah, but let me take a look at VLang real quick, because I think that there was some stuff here I really liked. In particular, they had, was it a Discord? Yeah, so MX is local. Let's see. Auto free engine. I don't know. I like everything about it in terms of what it says here, I think. I just haven't bought into it in the same way. I like some of the syntax better. So yeah. I think I just need to see some material, maybe some conference talks or something like that, that makes me feel that it's going to get the right amount of traction, and that it's better than Zig in some way that I can really grasp. Because Zig just makes so much sense to me, and VLang does it. It looks pretty. But I don't know. I just haven't encountered the right information to draw me in, to make me feel like, yeah, this is something I know that I don't get the feelings in my jellies about it. I don't know how else to say it. Let's see. How is it able to be a Rust compiler, Go compiler, and C compiler? So it's not going to compile Go, but it will compile C. And so if you have CGO, if you need to compile CGO, then you can use Zig to get better, more reliable cross-platform builds. Is Zig just working as a front end and spits out C code and then feed that to the actual C compiler? The initial versions, yes. So they are working on Zig as its own compiler, but yes. And I think that based on this being right here on the homepage, I don't think that ability is going to go away with the self-hosted compiler. We shall see. What's up, Resources Co.? It seems Zig could be used to make FFI-friendly wrappers of C libraries. Could load them in Dino. So you're talking about some stuff that I'm not so familiar with. I know what FFI is at the high level. I've not used it myself, but I know. But I don't think that you... I don't know that you would need... because Zig and C can work directly together. There doesn't need to be any separation between them. So I guess if you're saying that Zig could be used to make FFI friendly wrappers in the same way that Rust could be used to make FFI friendly wrappers, then I think I agree. And as far as Rust goes, again, Rust does not have a good cross-compile story. So Rust, this is one of the key detriments of Rust. This is one of the reasons that I don't actually use Rust on the daily already. Probably the most important reason that I'm not using Rust on the daily is that Rust is not as portable as I would like it to be. I have not found a good story for how to write Rust code and then deploy it for the systems that I use, Windows, Mac, and Linux, for ARM and for x64. If I had a good process that was simple to do that, I would be using Rust more. I wouldn't be necessarily looking at Zig in the same way. But Zig gives me a simpler language than what Rust gives, and an easier way to do what's important to me, which is cross-compile. The writing perfect programs is important to me, but being constrained by the language in the way that Rust constrains you by the language is not something that is as enjoyable to me. And maybe I'll get there, but the being able to cross compile is more important than having the compiler enforce the constraints that the Rust compiler enforces. That said, I would have already adopted Rust as a daily language if the cross-compile story were better. And maybe Zig will give me that. Maybe I'll play a little with Zig and I'll decide, you know what, I can basically do everything that I like about Zig I can do in Rust, and I just have to learn a little bit more about the borrow checker. But you don't have to write complicated programs, right? Rust is an extremely complicated language. It's one of the things I don't like about it. Again, Rust Beginner's Guide. Rust Expert's Guide. Okay, so learning curve. Let me go back on this one a little bit. I want to bring up one of my favorite little things to make fun of Node. So learning curve on Rust, no curve. It's just you're right at the top, right? Okay. Yeah, I am back. It took me, I never do anything in 10 minutes. If I say I'm going to do something in 10 minutes, I'm lying. You can count on that. Real question is if Rust can get you evicted faster. Oh my, yes. I thought Rust had cross-compiling, but I probably was reading about Zig and misremembering his Rust. Well, Rust does kind of, sort of. It's not in the same way. Zig is no nonsense cross-compiling. Rust is, I have not found a good way. You can cross-compile with Rust like you can cross-compile with C. It's maybe easier to cross-compile with Rust than to cross-compile with C, but it's not easy. Whereas with Zig, it's easy. It's as easy to cross-compile with Zig as it is to cross-compile with Go. That said, I've not actually gotten a working program other than the Hello World with Zig, but I think from what I'm understanding it is. Anyway, so I'm 10 minutes in AJ time. Yeah, my wife complains about that. Although, again, another slight diversion here. Let me go ahead and get started though. Let me go ahead and at least bring a terminal over so we can pretend like we're going to be productive tonight. My wife complained about AJ time and then she got a job. Hold on. She's doing accounting, and in the accounting world is actually much like the programming world in that you're given a problem by a client with not enough information and then told to solve it. And then anytime you encounter a problem, you think, oh, this is only going to take 10 minutes. So now my wife's 10 minutes and my 10 minutes are coming a little bit more into alignment, and we have a little bit better understanding of what 10 minutes means. You're like, I'm almost done. It's only going to take me 10 minutes. Okay, I'll see you in a few hours. I'm going to go ahead and watch an episode without you. So, anyway, yeah, what am I doing here? So I'm going into my directory where we have Webi. There's the beta right there. There's a few things that I need to get out of the way with this, but before I do that, normally I would take a little bit of time to go, oh, the AJ branch. Oh, right, because that's not installers. Let's go to installers. It's tripping me out to have, I flipped my direction of the window so before, the way that you see my face is here, and then the screen is here. This is mirrored. Is that mirrored? Anyway, so on the other screen, there was an empty space on the screen where my face was, and then there was this space where I actually work in, and here it's actually the opposite. So it's, yeah, the empty space where my face goes is over there, but on the video it shows up as if it's over here. Yeah. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Just kind of a thing that is just tripping me out now that I've switched screens. But now you get to see more of my beautiful face. Isn't that nice? Everybody was complaining that I look over here too much, and I get it. It's true. It's true. Now I get to look a little bit more towards you, but I don't have to stare at you. Some people want me to stare at them while I write code. I'm not going to do it. You weirdo. Get your jollies somewhere else. Oh, that's weird though, because now I've got my preview window's right there, and so now I'm seeing whatever. We'll figure it out. Okay, so first of all, I should probably just copy and paste here. I think Zig is going to be similar to... I actually have... We go to webinstall.dev, go to the GitHub. I think I have an issue up. Is it up here? No. I have a table somewhere. And the table shows the example documents and where things go. Categories of installer. This is it. So if I want to look at the categories of installer, Node is the one that is the most simple in terms of frameworky things. And Zig is a frameworky thing. Well, I say framework, a platform is probably what I should call it. So anyway, if we go Node, I don't know if I really want to do this. I think examples is fine. I think I just go from example. Yeah, and I go to Zig. I think that's... Zig is going to be the best example we have of this. And I'm going to tilt that back a little bit. It's going to take me a while to get used to this new orientation. Yeah, little perspective. Rugged mountain looks, yeah. Rugged mountain man. Getting fat in my office and streaming. Look at me in the eyes, AJ. Okay, I'm looking at you. But here's the thing. I don't know where your eyes are. I assume they're there. But maybe they're over there. Over there. Right there. Who knows where your eyes are? All right. Look, I don't have good self-control, and I'm not a responsible person. So, yes, stop distracting me. I'm not responsible for my own emotions and abilities. I need to blame other people. All right, releases. I'm pretty sure with the releases, we can do as it says and delete this comment. We should be able to do that, I think. Need examples that filters out miscellaneous releases? I do not right now. I don't think I do. Hold on, let me go check on that. So let me check Zig on GitHub, because I think we're going to get the Zig releases from GitHub. I could be wrong about that. Let me go check. Oh, do we have? No, we don't. Oh, darn. Well, that's a pity. Well, it's not really a pity, because where's the downloads? I remember this now that I think about it. You can also get the JSON version of this page, which is what we need. So I am going to make a note to let them know that we depend on their JSON. Okay, so now I'm going to have to do the node thing here, because we are going to have to do Zig. Well, let's see. Let me go check out node releases and see how that went. Oh, it was so complicated. I had to do all this special matching stuff, some of which we probably don't have to do anymore. But yeah, I got to, let's see. Let me go back to Webi, and I'm just going to click on anything in Webi. I can just get to Webi here, webinstall.dev. Now let's go, sure, we'll click on node. And if we click on, we should have releases JSON. There we go. So I need to get it out in this format is what it needs to be in. Version, date, LTS, channel, OS. And then there's a certain... Yeah, okay. Well, we'll see what we can do there. So we're going to do Zig releases. And again, let me go check out how I did it for Node, because that's the way that we're going to need to do it. Request. There we are. Oh yeah. I guess we'll just map this. Shouldn't be that hard. This is no longer a pattern I recommend, by the way. I no longer recommend overriding module.exports for pretty much any reason. All right, let's see what we can do. I see there's a bunch of comments coming in. I am going to try to address those momentarily. But I'm going to try to get some actual work done too, you know. Let's see. Delete this comment. Need an example. It filters out. Blah, 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 blah. Do I need to filter out miscellaneous? Blah, 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 blah. I think I might. Let me go look at this releases. What is it? Where'd it go? What? Let's go back. Oh, here it is. Okay. Interesting. Oh, this is not a bad way to do it. Not a bad way at all. This is easy to parse, I think. Looks fairly standard. We can plop the OS in one category. We can plop, should be easy to normalize. Okay, we got our tarball there. Yeah, I like this. Oh, is Windows on a tarball as well? Oh, it's, look at that. They call it tarball, but it's a zip file. Okay, I can deal with that. Okay, let's bring these over to the fore. I'm just going to separate those like this so we have it. Okay. Zig Zag reminds me of the improv game Zig Zap Zop. Zig Zap Zop. Zip Zap Zop. Oh, zip, not zig. Zip Zap Zop. 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 I can say that 3 times fast. Zig Zag Zog. Wow, such zoosh. Oh, I wish I could star comments here. Oh, that's got oh man, I had so my soundboard is about to get an upgrade, and one of the things that I want to do is, along with the soundboard, I do want one special button that will just put up Doge for a second and then make Doge go away. So, hey Josh, will you remind me about that on my next Sharpen the Stream, to maybe do the Doge button? It doesn't really belong on the soundboard, but I think I'm going to put it on the soundboard. Okay. Why was Zog blocked out? I don't know. Top Google result tells me, oh, some new words kids are using. So I remember Zog as being from, or is it Zorg? The Fifth Element. Oh gosh. Look, don't say things that, don't make me repeat things that they're bad for the kids, okay? I had something in my title in the last stream that caused a lot of bots to come in with dirty messages, and I don't know exactly what it was, because yeah, looking at the title again, I don't know why that was. It doesn't seem reasonable. All right, so we're going to get a response back here. And then I think, so response dot, I forget if it's dot body or dot data. I think it's dot body. Console.log. And this is just a big array, right? Not quite. Oh, master. Okay. He did something that I kind of feel of a few minds about, which is that he uses, because then there's not an index. I guess date, you could use date, or you could use version, but then you got to parse the version. So you, does he have version here? Okay, so we have to do an object.keys. Okay, I take everything back. I'm not using Zig anymore. I'm offended. No. So this is a little bit weird to me. So we have versions equals object.keys. And then we need to be able to sort those. So now we need versions dot, and I have a sort function for versions here, which I think is executed somewhere else. So I don't think I have to do it right here. But now So in theory, most JSON parsers, if it's in JavaScript at least, it's going to order these in the same order that they appear as keys. But when you do this, I'm a little bit disappointed because this technically, I agree that you should have something that opens as an object, but if you have a sorted list such as this, then it ought to be array syntax rather than object syntax because multiple reasons, but it's more explicit. I'm not a fan of that style. I wonder why. There must be a reason that he made that choice, and there's probably some good reason behind it. I just don't know what that could possibly be. But, that's your typical AJ for you. So we've got, let's call it meta. And then what do we need to map this to? I'm just going to do the dumb simple mapping first, and then we'll figure out the smarter mapping later. So let me just do this. I think the node, I think I use that for the download. Let me go check and see what he's got here. What does one of these look like? The most up-to-date one. Yeah, I don't like the way that he did this. Oh, it's because this is the way the CLI outputs it, isn't it? The CLI actually has a bug in the way it outputs its versions. I noticed. That's not very pragmatic. I'm starting to lose faith. Maybe he's not the software engineer that I thought him to be. And I don't need all of this. I just need enough of it for me to be able to... Let me go back here. Date, yeah. I just need enough of it. Okay, so I don't care about source. He's mixing types on me. He's probably not a web developer. Maybe he doesn't do a lot of translating things between systems, data between systems, because this is just not a very good format for portable data. But whatever. I just need... Let's just take this all the way down here and get rid of it all. Okay. So just so I've got enough to look at. I don't know if that worked out. Oh well. Okay, what do we got in the comments here? Let's see. I don't even want to know what it is. I learned Zig from you. Yeah, wordplay to Jason Mraz. You know what? Here's another sound icon I need, or sound icon. That actually is the right term. Josh, remind me, or maybe you can just find this. I also want the sound of Mario getting a coin. We could either take that from Mario Kart or from Mario, but just that, ba-ding. I need that sound. I need that sound for moments like this when Resources Go pops up and mentions a song reference. That's just, you just point. We'll use this one for now. That's a little too strong. This just needs a little Sonic gets a ring or Mario gets a coin effect. I don't mind the use of an object because it makes it clear that keys are unique. Oh yeah, I see what you're saying there. Yeah, but let's not mix different types of things. So if this is a collection of things, then this collection of things should go in its own array or its own sub-object. Yeah, we shouldn't be mixing top-level things. But if you also consider that Zig is a C-like language, the more nesting you do, the more troublesome it is. So I could maybe kind of see where some of this is coming from. Anyway, what we need to do when we map here is we need to get keys again, object.keys. So on meta, so let platforms equals, and do we need anything with the date? Let's take, we probably do need something with the date. Date. Docs, notes. Yeah, we do need date, but I don't think there's anything else here that we need specially. So we're going to take the platforms, and then what are we returning? Let me think about this again. So the ultimate format that we need is this format. We just need a flat list. So what I'm going to choose to do instead is say let all versions, and we could call this version names, version sembers, packages. I don't know. Let's call it packages for now. So I'm not going to do a map. I'm just going to do for each. And then I'm going to do the same thing here. That's one of the things I referenced in my software engineering greatest hits is when in doubt, for each. And then I edited that to always for each. I actually think I wish I knew that I should have recorded with a second microphone. I thought that they might hook me up for recording because I asked if we could have it recorded, and they said, yeah, I'll see about getting that set up. But then that didn't happen, and I had a second mic in my bag just in case, but I used the built-in Mac, and so I will give you a link to the software engineering greatest hits bit right here. But it did not turn out the way that I was hoping. Software engineering greatest hits. And you can't hear people's questions, unfortunately. My voice doesn't sound so bad. We're going to put together another version of this that has the audio in some parts, particularly where I'm playing. It also, I thought that it was recording local audio from the computer itself, and it wasn't. And so when I'm playing a video, the overhead audio, which in many cases works out okay. So when I play a clip that's embedded, it actually worked out that it was in there. So for example, well, I skipped this a little bit. Yeah, I have embedded clips like this, and I would play them for 2 minutes or so. That didn't end up working out well in the recording, but because everything's timestamped, as you can see here, Josh is coming out with an updated version. Whoops. Oh, you can't see it there. Let me get to where you can see it. So Josh is on it, and he's going to take the clips that I played, which have been all annotated in the slides, and then get that in there so that this presentation looks a little better. And I'm thinking about doing it again as well. So if you're interested in me doing it again, jump in the Discord channel, which looks like it just posted the Discord link. Yeah, it did. And let me know in the software engineering greatest hits. Yeah, everybody's got different names, but welcome to the Discord, Resources Co. Feel free to drop into hashtag introductions and say a little something. All right. So platforms. Let's call this info. Yeah, great names. Meta, info, batting 1,000 a night. Oh well. So if not info or string equals type of info, let's do object. So if not info or object is not equal to type of info, return. So that should get rid of all these strings, and this makes it a little bit difficult to prepare for future versions. There's a few things that are wrong here. Oh, bless me. With it done like this, what I want to do is capture any and all that are in this format. So now what I basically have to detect is there a tarball? I have to be able to split the blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I think we can count on the hyphen for the split. So let name equals, wait, no, this is not info, platform. And we could call this details. I don't know, package. Let's call it package. Let's call it package instead. So package is meta and platform. Is this the right thing to call it? I'm sorry that my editor is all out of whack right now as I'm editing. Let me see if can I fix any of that? I don't know what's doing this little bit. I don't know what that's all about. I'll get this fixed in a minute. I need to comment all this out. That's what I need to do so that that's not in the way. Okay. Okay, now we should be able to get this cleaned up a little bit. A little bit. So let me think on this again. So we're going to have meta.date. No, is it meta.date? Yes. The top level, it's date. So versions, so this would actually be version. And then, no, this would be, I'm going to call this tag. That's what we're going to call it. Or ref. That's the appropriate name, isn't it? Ref. Let's call this refs. Yeah, there we go. Let's call it ref. And then let's versions is I don't like to take rest.body very far. What would we call this one? This would be data is rest.body. I'm just going to go with that. I know that's kind of lame. We're going to go with data is rest.body. And then here, versions is going to be data ref. Let me take a look at this again, make sure I've got it right. So if we're looking at the topmost level, it's an object that is all the versions of the thing. All of them. And the key is the refs. So we could do it this way. We could say versions is refs.body. That's what it represents. It's an object that is all the versions. And then the refs are the refs are the tags or the version, the symver number of the version. So we're going to go over all the refs, and then we're going to grab the package info based on that version. Packages. So this represents all packages. That's what it represents. Oh, wait, but we've got this one up here. Let's call this one packages. Packages. I don't know why it's got the odd highlighting there. Oh, and then let's just assign something here so that this stops complaining and it'll, there we go. Get everything in the right place. So now, and I will check comments in just a second. Sorry, I'm, trying to get this done here. Okay, so now platforms are the names of all the packages. The keys are the platforms, meaning Arch plus OS combo. And then a specific package is for a specific platform. So if the package is not a type of object, that could be date, for example, then we're just going to return and get out of here. Otherwise, we're going to let package, which I don't think we're allowed to use the word package like that. I'm not sure. So we could just do P, and then here we could do date, and then pkgs.date works. Let me check and see, how are we doing it here? We are doing date, and then they're doing date, and then our dates are in the same format because we're not insane. That's great. I don't know if he's got any LTS information. Let me come back to, oh my goodness, so many comments. Thanks, y'all. I love the engagement. I don't mind the use of an object. Oh, that one. If it was platforms, blah, 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 that would make the object better, I think. Yeah, okay, that's what we're arriving at right now. Too Strong reminded me of Stand By Me. I missed something because I wasn't watching these closely enough. Stand by me. Do you also do front-end streams? Kind of, sort of. I don't do any frameworks, but I do stream projects that I work on the front end. Yes, so one of the projects that I do on the front end, if you want to go see my streams for that, is Bliss. So this is my note-taking tool. As you can see, I actually use it frequently. and it will sync notes between computers, and they're encrypted, and I can sign in with GitHub. And this is its own, should be its own playlist. Hey, Josh, will you, if it doesn't exist, will you make the Bliss blog Easy as Gist playlist? I think we have a playlist for that. We certainly have a good 20 videos of me making this. They bleed into eventually some of the PayPal videos, I think. Yeah, because I started implementing PayPal for this and then I never deployed it. Blur. But this is a front-end project that I wrote, and this thing I did. I don't generally take on front-end work for clients unless it's a prototype. And then somebody else comes in after me and then redoes the real thing. But I'll create the prototype that mocks what it needs to mock or does what it needs to do to connect the front end and the back end. Let's see. Okay, this one I don't know. Come on, too strong. What's my name? I like the Ting Tings. They call me Stacy. Na, 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 na. Refs is appropriate. Hey, what's up? Sorry, I'm going to butcher this. I'm going to start from the end. This is something I've learned over the years for pronouncing, is start with the last syllable. So we have Ansh, Yanch, Uryanch, Suryanch. Suryanch. There we go. Suryanch Singh. What's up? I am using Brave. What is what language? Zig that we're talking about? Or are you talking about in here where I'm using JavaScript? Because this is nothing too crazy. Oh. Yeah. You know, I have the Prince Royce Stand By Me, and I do remember the Spanish part being there. You're a Python developer. Welcome. Junto a mí. All right. I missed some of the song reference stuff, or at least it was out of sync because I wasn't looking at comments there. But I would appreciate it. I would show more appreciation for it if I had caught it at the right time, so that everything made sense in the sequence of my brain. Okay, so all right, we don't need to do that. We don't need to do that. We're going to do, well, packages.push p, I think is what we're going to do. So we need to get the actual version, which in this case, I think I'm going to do this. If ref, we're just going to test for a dot in there. Because I'm not, well, we could let people install @master. I don't think there's anything in the logic of Webi that will prevent you. We're not going to do that right now. We're just going to focus on tagged versions. We're not. So only grab semver, not tags or branches. So if it doesn't have a dot, then we're going to return. Okay. Don't grab date or notes, which are confusingly at the same level as platform packages. Okay, agreed there. And this one was all versions. So first at the top level is versions, the next level down is packages. We're going to ignore some stuff. And then I'm going to say only grab platforms. Wait, no, not here. Somewhere. Platform, packages. Okay, wait. I need to move this up. That's why I was confusing myself. This one needs to move up. Yeah. Okay. I think I want to add one more condition here. Now, Zig does not allow you to have multiple conditionals in an if, and I actually think that's something I'm going to adopt as part of AJScript because I think that's really smart. I think that's something that Go probably should have done. So what you could do instead, I don't know if you can do it this way or not, but basically conditionals need to be clear. Let's see. This is easier to reason about. I've found this time and time again, that if you have multiple conditionals in your if, you really are much better off to break it onto its own separate line so that your if is only a single conditional. Because what it forces you to do is give a name to the operation that you're performing and makes your code more readable. Instead of having to intuit by reading through the operations, we can see, what are we testing? Is not package. Okay, good. Got it. So, or not package dot, what would it be, tarball? Yeah, so that's kind of one of the most important things. Great. So that's how we skip that. And then, wait, I put that up here. What was I going to do with this one? I was copying this just as a condition. I don't know why I copied it. It didn't save me very many keystrokes. In fact, it probably cost me more. But we'll see. What was I trying to do here? So now we should be dealing with something that actually is a package that has a tarball. Oh, the platform name. That's what we want to do. We want to split on the platform name. So let parts, I always call it parts, which is probably, whenever you take a pattern and you name something categorically rather than naming it specifically, that's a code smell. But I don't know what else better to call this when I'm splitting in this way. So you'll see in just a second. I probably should have showed before I commented. Whoops. We're going to split on, and I need to give examples for these because this is so confusing. It just needs examples everywhere. Okay. So this needs an example. Platform. Yeah. So this is going to become, really, I just put it in there. Whoops. So this is the intent. I like to put the intent above little snippets of code like this. Some people would correctly argue that if you need to put a comment on something, you might best put it in its own function, but I'm not 100% convinced that's always necessary. All right, so we should have let arch equals parts sub 1 and os is parts, sub 0 and parts sub 1. And I actually could see the argument for doing it the other way. So dot shift. No, we don't need to do it. I'll just say if parts.length is greater than 2, then I don't know how to interpret that, so I'm just going to say console.warn unexpected platform name with multiple this, and then let's just go ahead and put that in there. What should that be? Platform. There we go. All right, now I need to do something with OS and Arch, which I think these are in the format that we want to converge on. I wish I'd known about this format before. I might, well, this is one of those things where we already made a decision of how to do it, and I don't know if we can back down now. I decided to go with the way that Go does it, which is not the right way. Kind of, sort of, anyway. I like the Go way better because it's more communicative, so I understand why they did it that way, but it seems that the prevailing way to do ARM64 is A arch 64, and the prevailing way to do AMD 64 is x86 underscore 64. So they're both right and they're both wrong. It's just sad that we didn't have a standard, and I did choose the go way, so I guess I'm gonna stick with the go way. And then I don't know how we identify that something's on a channel. I think he's using Simver, so I think that if there's a plus in it or a dev, I think if there's a hyphen or a plus, then that is a way for us to say that it is on the beta channel. And otherwise, I think it's fair to say that it's on the stable channel. That's the rule I'm going to go with. So whether something is... So let beta equals, or let channel equals, we're going to say stable. And then if, let me think about this. So if p dot version, if it has either a plus or a minus, which I think we have to backslash that. Channel equals beta, and then p dot channel. Oops. I think this is the way that we do it. We just started out with channel is stable. We'll just have that be the default. That makes sense. And then we'll say that if the version is wrong, then we'll test it. So this would be, for example, we'll just grab this one right here. So if we've got a hyphen or a plus, then we can know that it is not a release version. I think that's fair. And there might be additional rules we need to do in the future. Okay, so let me go check comments again. Let's see. I missed a bunch again, so sorry. I'm going to be reading things out of order. Have you read Deployment from Scratch by Josef Sturzbany? Seemed like it'd be up your alley. I'm going to check it out. Is this something that is this a blog post or is this something I get on Amazon? I guess we're going to find out because I'm going to copy it. Self-hosting applications. All right. It's deployment from scratch. Deployment from scratch. I'm gonna also check this out to see if there's, I'm assuming it's just this blog article thing, but oops. Just put that in there. What has he got? Has he got anything on Amazon? Oh, good. The Magic Flute. Wonderful. All right, deployment from scratch. I'm checking this out. I don't know what this is. Oh, sweet. He's got transcriptions. This is excellent. Okay. I'm just putting this in my to-do list, actually. I'm literally putting, I've got a Discord sub channel for myself. Let me know if this is not the thing that you're intending me, because you said read and I found a listen, but I like a listen better because ain't nobody got time to read. But I'll check this out. If you want to give me the better link, you could, if it won't let you do it in the comments, then you can plop it in the Discord and I'll plop it back onto the stream. All right. Hey, I've received 100 messages today with Restream Chat. I got a little trophy. Huzzah. All right. Max Power says, you cool. Thank you. I appreciate that. I use parts as well. It's about deployment with fancy tools, just bash and without fancy tools. Yeah, that's up my alley. And I might learn something there that I'm not familiar with that I might enjoy. Yes, I agree 100% about this. In a way, dash separated is better than underscore separated because dash isn't a word character. That is correct. That is literally and technically correct. Although that is changing a little bit with some tools, but most code tools, yeah. And I agree with that. Yep. I 100% agree. The underscore is the appropriate character to use with this separation right here. 100% agree. All right, so here we should be able to put OS is OS and Arch is Arch. Ebook from Gumroad. Yeah, I think it's probably safe to split on Dash as well. I'll check out the ebook as well. Yeah, I like the podcast because I can listen to them while I'm on the drive or whatever, and I can listen at 2x. Magic flute brings me back to college. I don't need to know. I don't need to know. You and your massage therapists and the magic flute. I like Restream. It gives your stream better quality instantly. Mine or in general? Yeah, I really liked. I was doing the streaming for a while before I discovered the Restream chat, and I think the Restream chat has really been beneficial, and I appreciate it. Yeah, that's right. No, were you here earlier when Croasp was, you know, well, you would know if you were here. You wouldn't know if you weren't here, maybe. All right, what is this complaining about? Stop complaining. Oh, I didn't put the comma there. This is one thing that I think code tools should do. I think that there should be automatic comma and automatic semicolon insertion, not at the language level, but at the code tool level. The code tool should be able to say, oh, looks like you're creating an object. Want a comma with that? I think that's reasonable. I think I am all for allowing the developer to write sloppier code and to correct it with the formatter. Don't make me worry about the indentation. Don't make me worry about the commas and the semicolons. Because in so many cases, but then again, maybe this is one of those slippery slope things where it's like, oh, wait, well, yeah, it should just be able to put in the colons for me. It should just be able to put in the brackets for me. Where do you end? But the thing is, the commas and the semicolons have different rules between different languages, and I think that's where you get stuck up the most, and it's the most easy to detect. I could be wrong about that. I mean, feel free to present a different perspective, but I think that's kind of the thing there. So ext, I don't think I need to do that. I think all I need is download. We got version, date, channel, OS Arch, LTS. I don't know what to say about that. I don't think we have LTS in this situation. And download. And I'm pretty sure ext and name are going to be inferred. So I think the only other thing that I need to put in here is just download, which is the whatever.tarball. Are we calling it pkg.tarball? And I like the idea of putting size. I think some of these do have size. Let me try, is it Golang? Let's try Golang. It had something extra here. Version, LTS, hash. Okay, we do have hash. Hash is allowable, so I'm going to go ahead and put a hash in here. What is it called? SHASM. Okay, we'll put SHASM in here. And I don't know if we had size or not. Size makes sense, though. I think I'm just going to include it. I don't think there's too much detriment to it. Unless I've specified it some other way somewhere else. But if I don't have it on Node, Golang, and Flutter, I probably have not defined it yet. ext name hash. Yeah, looks like I haven't. Okay. And alternatively, maybe rather than skipping the things that don't have a dot, maybe it would be fair. Let me turn this around. I'm gonna do this another way. I say we do allow it. Mark branches or tags as beta for now. Live at Head. I watched a C++ conference talk called Live at Head. It's pretty good. I'm not really a C++ guy. In fact, I'm anti-C++. I'm not going to deploy this here. Let's see. I don't like conditions where there needs to be an else. Let's try this. Let is not stable equals. This might be a little bit strange, but let's see if it feels bad. If you think this is bad, let me know. I'm open to the fact this may be bad. Oops. So I want to maintain the comment here, but I also want to collapse this. There's no need for an else. Else is a code smell. But I don't. Maybe I should just put it above. And then say also mark free releases and then we could do it this way. Is that readable? Is that nice and legible? Is that the best way to do it? Okay, so let me go back through here. Date. Where did date come from? Date comes up at a higher level. Date comes up at the... No. Does it come up at this level? Comes at one layer down. This is kind of... Yeah, the fact that this is confusing to talk about and write lends itself to... This was a poor choice of how to put this together, but whatever. I like the idea of having the documentation in there and notes and stuff like that. It's kind of cool. But I don't know what to do with it yet. I'm just going to put a to-do. To-do. Docs. Let me just grab these things here. So we got release notes. I think that's neat to have. I'd like to have that for everything, to be honest. But I just don't know if it's the right thing right now. And it's complaining again about the stupid missing comma. There we go. I'm going to leave that out for now. Okay, so date is at the top level, and then we've got the source and the bootstrap, and then all the individual things that we actually care about. So let's get rid of that all. All right, we're going to have to continue this. I need to get to bed. It is 3 a.m., almost 3:15. So I do need to get to bed, but let's go ahead and test this and see if we're in a place where we can call this good. Now this will run through a normalize function. So there's some stuff that I didn't fill out or I didn't fill out correctly. So for example, I didn't map correctly between the OSs, but actually I should just keep a map here. Let me go ahead and do that. So x86-64 and Arch. Yeah, this looks easy enough to map for right now, at least. I don't know what else there's. Oh, we've got RISC versions in here. We've got ARM v7. You know what? I'm actually better off where we got Linux, FreeBSD, macOS, and Windows, which I think are the exact same names that I use already. So we got Windows, Linux, macOS. Thank goodness we're a little bit more standard across the different platforms on how we name that. And then we got FreeBSD in there as well. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say I'm going to let my auto detection work for OS because this is going to be Windows, Mac OS, let's see, LM, Linux, Mac OS, Windows. So that's literally what those are. Here, to do map explicitly rather than normalization auto detect. So the OS is going to be set. The architecture is going to be grabbed from the name of the file. So if I just not put the architecture in here at all, it's going to auto detect it in the normalization function from the name of the file. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. We got the normalize. And then I guess this is releases. So what are we doing here? We need to actually do a return at the end of it all. So we need to do a return releases. And then I think I actually called these packages. I should have called them releases. I don't know if I want to go back and fix that now. Releases. I think I do because I'm doing it right now. So we're going to go through and rename wherever I called it packages. We're going to call it releases. Packages, releases. Okay. And then same thing here. So if I remember correctly, this is what I got to do. Okay. Where am I at, by the way? I'm on next. That's cool. I need to get checkout dash B. Well, let's see. Get checkout main. Get checkout dash B's add zig. And I'll bring that into next. We're going to do zig and releases. Let's go ahead and test this. I'll probably pick this up tomorrow. So this looks right at first blush. Let's see, is architecture? Yep, it's automatically detecting architecture correctly. So what else would we need to do? Let me see if I can just do a really quick fix for this install. We should be able to change from foobar to zig. Maybe I call it ziglang. I'm going to call it ziglang for now. So we'll go through there, and then anywhere that we still have foo, we're going to replace with zig. All right, let me catch up on comments. The author of the deployment book has an ebook for $50 on Gumroad. Doesn't want to use Amazon because they take a cut and encourage lower prices. But $50 seems like a big deal, especially for an ebook. I don't really like ebooks. I'm the old-fashioned. You know, I'll pay $50 for a book, but I want a nice solid copy of it. I like to be able to mark them up and stuff. Okay. Oh, I saw that message. I don't know which. Oh, okay, that one. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Gumroad takes a 9% cut. Kindle takes the 30%. What? What? 65%? Oh, I don't blame him. That's insane. Skipping over that one. Gumroad's cut goes down as sales go up. Yeah, so this is one of my problems with the internet today. I don't know if anybody else is noticing this. I've made a comment a few times on the stream, but the way in the old world things work is that as you have higher volume, you get better discounts. So the first one might cost you $50, but if you buy 2, it's only $48 each. And if you buy 10, then it's $45 each, and so on and so forth. So if you buy 1,000,000 of a thing, you know, you get your costs all the way down to just $5. Well, on the internet, the opposite seems to happen. When I look at all these cloud services, whether it's Amazon or Azure or something completely random like the transcription services that I looked into before I decided on Otter, it seems that the higher you go in volume, since there's lock-in, they just ream you, So if you need 10 of something, then it's the first one's free. It's more like a drug market. It's more like a back alley drug market than it is like normal capitalism. Because if you need 1,000 API requests per month, or up to 1,000, it's free. But then as soon as you hit 1,000, it's $100 a month. And then you think, okay, well, I need 2,000, so that should be $200 a month. I mean, I'm using definitely the wrong numbers here, but you get what I'm driving at. But then no, it's not $200 a month. It's $300 a month. And then, and then they just have you contact support. It just quickly goes to $10,000, whatever it is. Your free tier is some excessive amount of free and compared to whatever the basic tier is. And then between the basic tier and the advanced tier, it just goes insane. It just goes hockey stick from free to unaffordable. Rather than, a tiny free tier. This is what I like about Postmark. Postmark doesn't have free users. And Postmark is priced more in the way that I expect things to be priced, which is that as you buy more, you just pay on top of what you bought. But this is true of ISPs as well. You want to get 2 terabytes of bandwidth, it's $100 a month. But you want to get 2.1 terabytes of bandwidth, and it's $500 a month. Once you go over the 2 terabyte limit, then it's $10 per gigabyte or something exorbitant like that. It's just, or 10 gigabytes or whatever it is. You can't get this scale of the normal scale. I don't get it. Okay. I'm not reading that one either. Oh, but thank you for your creativity. Okay. Oh, I don't use Spotify, my friend, but I think I found the right self-hosting applications podcast when I was looking earlier. Yeah, Spotify has destroyed music. It's made it impossible for artists to make any money, and it has provided a global strategy by which all variety in music can be essentially eliminated, and one dude over in Sweden gets to decide what everyone's playlists are for the week and the month and the year. So I don't support Spotify on a moral level. One day I'll log back in and get some of my good playlists off of there. Oh, deploymentfromscratch.com. Maybe I should do that. Should I create a book? And I don't know if I have the mental facilities to create a book. If he could get it self-published in a way that I'm gonna listen to the podcast first. But if he could get self-published in a way, oh yes, Git push. You can do so much with Git push and Git hooks. Ah yes, this looks cool. Yeah, I think, and yeah, Postgres. Yeah. Okay, I'll definitely listen to the podcast. This seems really cool. There are contraband sites. I'm assuming that that there's no DRM on this ebook, that it's kind of the honor system. If I can find a way to get this printed, and then it's going to cost me another, if it's 500 pages, it's going to cost me another $50 to get it printed. I don't know if I want to do that unless I really, really love it. But I'll check it out. This sounds cool. Thank you. I like the recommendation. Yeah. Okay. At least my creativity is valued here. Yes. Your creativity is valued here. Yeah. Well, so the argument with the willingness to pay is willingness to pay. It's more that you get locked in because you're given so much for free, and your brain is used to that if something is free, if the first 1,000 are free, well, if they can give away 1,000 of whatever it is, units of thing for free, then you think, well, when I go up to 2,000 units, it shouldn't cost very much, but it's a trick, and once you're locked in, then that means you have to raise your prices for your customers. And the only way that that is sustainable is in our current market for the last 10 years, where investors foot the bill. So it doesn't matter what something costs. If the costs are astronomical, it doesn't matter because investors are footing the bill. The end consumers are not people who have to afford the thing based on their job or their income, and they're not businesses that are non-scalable businesses. It's not businesses that are lifestyle businesses or privately owned businesses. It's businesses that are scalable, that are positioned to sell, that all of these SaaS products are marketed towards, because there's no responsibility or accountability for the spending of the money. So the market has kind of created itself by its own conditions. It's not the reason it doesn't reflect normal capitalism and it seems more like a back alley drug deal is because that the companies that are doing it are venture backed. So they're not accountable for that first 1,000 units. It's free money to them, no matter how much it costs them. They're all about user acquisition. And then they're primarily marketing towards other companies that are venture backed, that are not accountable for how they spend their money either. So can drop. Okay. Let me try to get to the point where we actually get this installer working. And this is not going to be the way that this works. So it's actually going to be we'll say opt ziglang for now. And then I think it's just zig. I hope that he's consistent between his stuff. And then so this is the thing that's confusing, is that the bin directory for zig, it always gets me when people do these weird non-standard things. Just create the bin directory, bro. Just do it. Just create the bin directory, because then the man path works. Okay, yeah, it's an old convention. We don't need to have a bin directory. There's only one thing here, blah, 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 blah. I get it. But the reality of the situation is that all of the existing tooling works when you have a bin directory. When you don't have a bin directory, then you have to have custom configuration. And I would like to get Webi to the point where it's heuristics based, where I don't have to come in here and do this copy paste bit. Maybe I should have just put exports in front of all these. All right, so we're going to, where was the command at? No, we're not going to make this one. Okay, I don't remember how this unpackages. Is it Zig? Okay, it's called Zig. The package is called Zig. I think I'm going to host it as Ziglang, just to match with Golang and Rustlang. And then alias it as Zig. I'm not sure which is the most appropriate way to do it, but it's going to be one of those things. So we're just going to say Zig, and we're going to move it to this. And then I like to do this on purpose. I capture the version that it was at the time that I created Webi, somewhat intentionally. So that somebody comes in here and they say, oh, this is messed up. There's kind of an implicit reason for why it's messed up. Oh, this installer was created back when this was 0.9.1. So if somebody comes in here, they kind of get that. Let's see. Do I have Zig installed here? I don't. So we'll get to this in just a second. All right. So get current version. And I think this is just going to be Zig. And then it's going to be package source, not package source command. Yep, and then we're going to have the link to package DST is what that is. So the destination is going to be, yeah, on these is going to be like that. What is this complaining about? Oh, whoops. That's good. I'm so glad I had that in there. Was that meant to be dir? Hold on, let me go back up here. It's called dir. Let me see how Node is doing this. Because Node is kind of a special case, but it's also really, really simple. All I had to do is yeah. That one the Node one is too simple. I need to go back and update that one at some point. All right, so package source dir. Do I call it package source dir anywhere else? Has it always been? Let's see. Do I ever do package source bin? Only in the Windows version. Okay. So it looks like I made a mistake, but I was consistent with it. So I guess we'll go with it. Let's see, Webi, is that in here? Okay, interesting. All right, got it, got it. So whatever the command is, there we go. So let me see dest bin. All right, dst dir, and then dst bin. Yeah, okay, cool. So this is the appropriate way to set this one up. Because whatever the command is, the bin directory is just one above it. Got it. That's right. Okay, so this should work. I don't even know if we need to make this. Do we need to make this directory at all? I don't think we do. I don't think we do. I think it's just like this. Okay, so I think with this right here, if I just do export Webi host as beta locally on my Mac and I do Webi Ziglang, I think it's going to get it. No, it 404'd. Interesting. Oh, because I did call it Zig there. Let me go ahead and call it Ziglang. And then I'll check on some comments again. And then I got to go to bed. Okay. Cuckoo. So let's try this. Is it going to work? What do you think? Let me update my path. I think I am going to change it back to just Zig and then have Ziglang be an alias. But anyway, let's see Zig version. Boom. Excellent. Surprised it didn't spit out anything extra. Zig dash dash version. Yeah. Zig version, there it is. Boom. So hey, the installer works. So all said and done, very little that's required to do. So again, I'm going to go back to Zig on this one. Or am I? Yeah, I am. And then we're going to have another one that's called, so I'm going to make, is Golang the one that has the alias, or is Go the one that has the alias? Go has the alias. And so we're going to do the same thing for ziglang, where ziglang, we're just going to replace go with zig in here. I think. Oh, whoops, we're going to do the reverse. I think what I wanted actually was rust. Because I think rust, I do it the other way. So rust lang, and then ziglang. Really? So this would be ziglang is an alias for zig. And then we would do zig. I guess I didn't have... Oh, that makes sense. I know why I don't have rust set up this way yet. That's okay. But here, I'm just going to replace rustlang with ziglang. Oh, whoops. That actually doesn't do what I want it to do either. So it turns out that the Golang one is the one that I need. Whoops. The Go one. My bad. In this case, I'm going to replace Golang with zig. And then I'm going to replace go with ziglang. That way I've got my alias in place. Yep. So the PS1 file is correct. It's going to grab zig. Yep. And then my README, I should just update a couple of things in there too. I'm going to get it from the Go README, which shows that there's an alias. Ziglang, README. I'll catch up on comments in just a second. Sorry I've been ignoring y'all a little bit. But you know, getting stuff done. Ziglang is zig alias. So we're just doing these in reverse. So Golang with zig, and then go with ziglang. Alias, 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 alias. Cool. So we've got our ziglang. That one's all well and done. And then I don't have the rest of this done, but technically it's installable now, so that's good. Was there anything else that I needed to do with this? The releases are all good. I can get rid of this comment now, because I don't need to do any of that. So that worked. Oh, there was one thing I did need to change in the install.sh, which is down here at the bottom. It's not zig dash dash version. It will be zig version has output in this format. This it's already trimmed down to the format we want. But I like to do this head bit just in case. This kind of future-proofs it. We're just doing a little future-proofing to keep it that way. There we go. That way, in case other lines are added in the future, you know, if we can just kind of assume that that pops out in the same way, then we're good. Export Webi zig. Okay. Let's see, zig version. Cool, I like that. So this looks good. I'm going to add zig install.sh. And then I'm just going to commit this right now as whip feet add zig lang. Well, there we are. I'm going to make a pull request for this as well. And then we'll continue this probably tomorrow at some point. We'll see. Zig lang as alias for zig. Okay, zig for Unixes. Zig for Windows. Cheat sheet, which I don't even know what all the cheat sheet should be yet. But that's coming around the mountain when she comes. Okay, now I'm going to check on comments here. Oh. Okay. So this happened to me. I was shopping for an internet and somehow I thought $30 more per month was a good deal just to get HBO Max. And I realized it wasn't. And my friend has HBO Max. Are you familiar with the new Direct Storage API for Windows? I am not familiar with the new Direct Storage API. Is that, I'm assuming that it's probably the same as Dropbox or some such. I know that they've integrated virtual storage into Windows very deeply now. A lot of cloud companies do provide stuff for free with VC money, that's for sure. I mentioned it to TP Tasic. I don't know who that is. Let me check this out. I don't know. Yeah, most people, I guess. There's 7 billion people. I can't know most of them. Your credit card number is thin plastic line between us and chaos. Okay. Well, so I'm getting on the Dash bus when it comes to payments. I think that Millidash is a good solution for micropayments. I think it is easy, it's convenient. The thing is just kind of getting the ecosystem started, and I really do. I see a future in it. I want to help with that. That's part of the reason that I'm continuing to work with Dash as a project. Let's see, making my way down the comments here. Fly.io. Oh yeah, Fly. Is that the same company that does the hosting for JavaScript Jabber? I remember. No, it was Cashfly. Okay, never mind. Okay, which one is Fly.io? Deploy servers close to your users. All right. Got it. We should tell them about Webi. We need one slightly larger project to pick up Webi, and then the dominoes will fall, because we've pretty much got the stars in terms of user stars. We're over 300. We're well on our way to 1,000, but we need to get picked up by a bigger project. I think, I'm not sure if we'll make 1,000 by my birthday, but we're on the ramp, right? We're getting to 1,000. It's going to happen. I'm not worried about it. I think that Webi is, to date, the most important project that I've ever been part of. I think that it will hockey stick at some point. It's on the path. But I just need one or two of the larger projects. That's one of the 100,000 star projects. I got to get to 1,000 stars first, because there is this whole social proof problem that I think getting to 1,000 stars. And I wish that when we started Webi that we had a star on GitHub button, but back then we weren't thinking about playing the game. We were thinking about providing a great product. And now you don't have to not play the game to provide a great product. In fact, you do have to play the game to provide a great product, because that whole social proof thing. But I'm really looking forward to the day, and I think that it is likely to happen when instead of seeing a brew here, you see the curl for Webi. And we've got to get some stuff figured out, such as, for example, how a tap is supposed to happen. I don't like to, I shouldn't be thinking of it in those terms, because we're not trying to replicate what Brew does. We're not competing with Brew. We're providing a completely different type of experience for a completely different purpose. Just there's a lot of overlap. And most of the things where you see Brew being used is because that's the tool that's more widely available, even though it's not the right tool for what most of these, how to say this, it is a tool that's available that people are aware of, and so they'll use it. But if they knew about Webi would be the tool that they would use, because that's what they actually want to accomplish, is quick, easy installs for their users that are versioned. And obviously this is Webi's a lot easier on all sides. Anyway. Hey AJ, where were you missing? Oh, I haven't been around for a couple of days. So if you watch the previous video that I did earlier tonight about the I'm trying to get evicted, which is a little bit of a clickbait title. I'm not actually trying to get evicted. It's just that I'm having some trouble with a landlord, and it caused me to lose. Well, first of all, I pulled an all-nighter, and I'm getting older, and I'm not handling all-nighters as well as I did last year, and certainly not the 5 years prior. All-nighters are starting to take a little bit more of a toll on me. So when I did the BYU presentation, software engineering's greatest hits is what I've quasi-dubbed that. And it's unlisted on the channel. I can grab you a link to it. I'll grab you a link to this right here. I'll post this again. So, whoa, nope, that's not what I want to do. Reopen, close tab. I don't know why it says take notes at the top. That's not what it should say. I must have put that wrong there somewhere. So here you go, Akshat. Well, oh no, what did I do? I hid the browser windows by mistake. I do that all the time now. So software engineering's greatest hits. So I did this presentation. I pulled an all-nighter to put it together. And that was one thing that threw me off a little bit. And then we have this trouble with our landlord where they're cherry picking certain clauses from the contract and abusing them in a way that is not normal for what a landlord will typically do. Even though lots of landlords have very similar language in their contracts, they're choosing to interpret it in a very strange way that is also not in accordance with Utah law, and that I believe is actually in accordance with a third degree theft by extortion, third degree felony theft by extortion. So I went over that in detail in the last video, the last session. So that's what I've been missing too, is I lost some sleep, and then just other things were going on, and so I wasn't streaming for a few days. And then that continued because I was then losing sleep as well over this landlord problem and how do we solve it. I'm very, very convinced that we are legally in good standing with Utah law and with the common interpretation of those clauses, because those clauses are adapted from Utah law, and other states have similar laws as well. So I'm very confident that legally we are in the right, but this is a very strange scenario. And anyway, it's one of those things where I don't want, anytime lawyers get involved, the only people who win are the lawyers. So I really don't want it to get to that point. In some ways, I would rather, and this is exactly what they want you to do, right? That's what extortion is I would rather give in to the bullies, because I could potentially work more hours, make more money, and within a certain number of days of work that I can calculate. It's all about stress level, really. How stressed is this going to make me? How much loss am I going to have? it's more about the emotional loss and the dragging out some stupid process. From the practical perspective, could I give myself pain in another direction and take the losses financially? But then, somebody needs to stand up to the bullies. It's not convenient to stand up to the bullies. I'm often doing inconvenient things. I don't know. Anyway, it's something that I did lose some sleep over. And yeah, so that was also part of the where I've been missing. But thanks for asking. Forgot to mention, Socket.dev guy on JSJabber was awesome. Yeah, for Asabuka DJ. Did you two end up talking one-on-one? No, but we should. I completely forgot to do that. Hey, Josh, will you put that in my to-dos? This is a only I can do it. It doesn't need to get done, but it's not something that I want to forget to do. So I guess this is a grade B to do. To get in touch with Farasa Book DJ about socket.dev. And Noah, could you remind me this? There was a couple specific things I said I wanted to speak with him about one-on-one. I don't remember what they were. I think one of them was just how to get the incentives aligned correctly around the socket.dev, just the incentive structure, because I don't want to have to, again, play the game in order to pretend like my package is being updated every day when in reality packages should become complete. And I could see that there's a couple things that I do that I feel are actually a benefit to security and the quality of a package that I was marked against. One of them being that my packages aren't updated often because they don't need to be, because I scope them well and then I complete them. Not all the time, but much of the time, if not most of the time. And then the other thing being that I don't list unnecessary dependencies. So if something is a build dependency that is only necessary, or dev dependency that is only necessary as part of a development script and not part of the actual deployment of the package, then I will not include that as a dependency, but I'll put it as an npx script with a version tag, or I have a couple other ways of dealing with that problem so that it's still a convenient API for the user and a convenient usage, and it's not dragging along dependencies that are unnecessary and could carry security vulnerabilities. And since they're able to detect those anyway, then we should be able to have a workaround for that. Okay, so let me see. I haven't been paying attention to the Discord much here. I'm just going to go ahead and click the wave button. I turned off the animations. So I myself am clicking. No, I can't do it. Can't do it. Getting rid of it. I'm just gonna put the high wave with my hand. So one of the things on the channel is that I don't do the click on the animations because I find them to be obnoxious. And if I've got this screen open, I don't want to see a little kitty bouncing back and forth like it's having a seizure over and over again. I did actually turn it off in the settings. There's a save GPU cycle setting or something, or accessibility and don't cause motion sickness setting. But anyway. And I'm going to get off here. Oh, I'm so bad. It's 4. Oof. Okay, why not Ethereum, and should I YOLO my savings into Dash? So Dash has the unfortunate occurrence of being lumped in with the but in reality, Dash is digital cash. It's really trying to solve a different problem. Dash I think that Dash is on the right track. Dash, the community in Dash will vote to keep transaction prices low. So you should always be able to buy bread with Dash. That's I think they say their slogan, and I'll bring it up again. Their slogan is your money, your way. Ready to start making everyday purchases with digital cash. Dash Direct makes it fast and easy with savings every time you spend. This, I think, is a really good description of what Dash is and why Dash is different. Why Dash does not fit into those categories. So Dash, I see it slightly as a store of value. I think that it is probably a better store of value than the US dollar right now, in particular. Um, but I don't think that it's, I don't think of it as an investment or something like that as much as it's a way for me to pay people and get paid and to buy goods and services. And in my own ecosystem of people that I know and trust and work with, Dash is actually becoming a thing that we deal in. So, for example, oh yeah, I actually owe a buddy 3 Dash. I need to get that to him. I told him I'd get it to him today, but I didn't. I have to think on that one and make sure I get back to him. Let me not forget that. I'm gonna make a note. Hey Josh, will you also remind me that I've got a 3 Dash debt that I need to repay? Thanks. I'm also going to put that in my notes to self right now. I can do that on my own, as it were. Let's see. Yeah, but that's kind of cool. It's kind of cool when the when you when it starts to function more like an IOU, a self-contained economy, that I can speak in terms of Dash with people that I'm working with, and that have meaning for us. And I think that the units of Dash in terms of millidash being something that you could reasonably use for services, I think is a good way to go about it. And then, 1 Dash is, 1 to 2 Dash is in the realm of, you could talk about how big a project is. Is this a 10 Dash project? Is this a 1 Dash project? Is this a 100 Dash project? And those terms kind of can make sense between a community of people working together, because the current denomination of 1 Dash is large enough for it to be meaningful in terms of getting work done together. Okay. I visit the Fly IO page on Linux and I see curl. Oh, cool. Let's see. Pointing my comment in the HN thread, mine got downvoted and it was grayed out, and you read the other one. Oh, sorry. I wasn't paying close attention. Let me go back here. Oh. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it is anti-competitive for sure, but when you've got enough money, the law, this is the thing. Judges are supposed to protect the people, but this is also Delaware, oddly enough, with their whole live free or die. I think one of the reasons that businesses like to incorporate in Delaware is not as friendly towards people as it is towards companies, and so Delaware law is better for corporate law. Hmm. Interesting. The response is well enough. Let's see. I usually just allow the bully to put themselves in a bad position and squash them. Hopefully, not too much stress for you, AJ. Well, that's the whole judo technique, right? Yeah, it's just tough, and I lost big. I lost big. I lost, in some ways, years of my life in a legal battle, and a lot of that was the emotional stress, and perhaps I've matured enough that I can not make that same mistake again, because and this goes back to a lot of the philosophies that I believe from the Bible, particularly the New Testament, what Jesus taught. uh I've learned to be true. Let me see if I can bring up, oh, what is it? This is relevant whether you are uh of the faith or not. See if I can find the one that I want. Probably Matthew. There we go. If any man sue thee at the law, and take away thy coat, let him have thy cloak also. this seems ridiculous, but if you've ever been in this situation, it's not the worst advice. The mostly you want to avoid the emotional bitterness. You want, if and it's hard to have an abundance mentality when you're losing. So being at the point where you can do this is really, really difficult, to be in the mature, emotionally stable position to be able to follow that advice. But in many ways, if you are capable, this is the better way, because if someone is coming at you legally, you're already losing. And the bigger bully is often going to win in the legal situation. So with this thing with the landlord, I think that they're going to back down because they're so clearly in the wrong, and they're so clearly precedent, and it just hurts them. It hurts us more than it hurts them, but what they're doing hurts them, right? So I mean, that's one of the things, but when someone is willing, this is something my dad taught me when I was a kid. If someone is willing to hurt themselves to hurt you, you cannot win. And that's just something you gotta keep in mind. And I think this is really relevant. If any man sue thee at the law and take away thy coat, let him have thy cloak also. It seems ridiculous, but it's about having an abundance mentality, and about uh, being able to let go, because you want your emotional well-being and your personal control over your life. If things go wrong, you lose a lot more than your coat and your cloak. Not physical possessions, financial status, but also the emotional state, and bitterness and hatred and the inability to forgive, resentment. All of that is a poison that harms only the person that holds it, right? So if you get into a position where you are bitter, and you may not, quite often, if not most often, this is because you are in the right, not in the wrong. Um, but I think that's what this is very much about, on both sides. One, you want to be generous with people that you perceive to have done you wrong. Give them the benefit of the doubt. You've heard it said, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. But I say unto you, resist not evil, which you have to, the English of this is maybe not that great, but whosoever shall smite thee on the right cheek, turn him the other also. Uh, Whoever shall compel thee to go a mile, go with him twain. There's a lot to this. And I think that there's some balance. I don't think that it should be taken to an extreme. I don't think that you should give someone the shirt off your back, because then you're left shirtless, and you can only lift people up to the point where you are. You cannot lift someone to a place where you aren't. So you want to have an abundance mentality. You want to be self-sustaining. You really do want to take care of yourself first, because it's the whole put on your own oxygen mask before assisting others. But yeah, when it comes to legal bullies, no one's going to win, but they may be more willing to hurt themselves to hurt you than you're willing to hurt yourself to hurt them, hopefully. And so you just kind of want to get out of those situations if you can. Even, and again, there is some level of moral responsibility that you may have, especially if you're in a position to fight against the bully for the benefit of other people that come down after you. But I think you just got to recognize, you got to, I don't know what the answer is, but you got to find some sort of, you know, you got to be well, guess I would say. Yeah, cut your losses and move on. And it's just it's so hard. I mean, I mean this very sincerely. I am in a very fortunate position. I am a software developer. I'm a pretty darn good software developer. Over the course of my lifetime, because I'm a blabbermouth, I've made a lot of connections, so it makes it fairly easy for me to get work. I'm not ashamed to talk about my problems. So whether it's at church or at school or work or whatever it's been, if somebody says, "How's it going?" I'll say, "Oh man, I'm struggling with this problem with this landlord or whatever, right? I don't just say it's good. I'll actually tell people what's up. If something's really great, oh yeah, this week I got to teach at BYU. It was awesome. And because I'm a loudmouth, it builds connections because people knows what's going on. So when they get wind of, oh yeah, I ran into this lawyer the other day, or my brother's a lawyer, maybe he can help you with that, or oh, that's really cool. What were you teaching? All of that stuff, because I try to be mostly honest with people in the appropriate situations. And so that also has given me opportunity where I've got connections and I can make things move and whatnot. But when you and so it's easier for me to have an abundance mentality. Also I've developed this mentality of if you don't have enough funds for something, if you are lacking, rather than cut things out of your life, which is likely going to create minor gain or minor gains, cut out your Netflix bill or whatever. I'm of the mindset, well, figure out how to make more money, which is not necessarily a common way to go about things, or something that a lot of people necessarily have the capacity to do. And so when you look at the average person's situation, especially considering what's just been happening globally, I think that it's a little bit hard to say cut your losses and move on. So while I agree, I just went on this whole thing where I'm agreeing with you. I also just want to bring back around the idea that the more that you're in a tight spot, the more that it's going to hurt you, the harder it is. And this is one of the things that I had. I lost essentially all of my savings. Almost in a way, it almost cost me my marriage. Just when you go into big financial troubles, it puts everything in your life goes south. When you have money, when you have enough money, it doesn't matter how much more money you have, you're not going to be any happier. But when you don't have enough money, then it does matter. And this is one thing that somebody brought up with one time, another reference to the New Testament. Jesus gets this big crowd of people that are then hungry from following him all day, and before he teaches them, he feeds them. I think that this is, again, whether you believe it or not as a factual story or whatever, I think that the principle there is an interesting principle, is that if people have their needs met, their basic needs met, they're more receptive to opportunities in life. And again, that's maybe a deeper interpretation because it's not literally in the text that's the purpose of it, but that's something that it seems to make sense. Somebody's been following you around all day. If somebody is in a situation where they're not having their needs met, help them meet their needs, and they'll help you. With one of the people that I work with, he made some stupid decisions, what I consider to be stupid decisions, because he's worried about saving $50 on something, and I said, look. We've got these problems. There's only so much time available in the day. If you've got a problem that's a $50 problem, that's an easy problem to solve because $50 can solve it. And that $50 is worth less than the collective time problem that we have. So I said, anytime that there's a money problem, always bring that up to the table, because if we can get the money problem out of the way, then you're more freed up to be more productive and get more stuff done. And, then so anyway, I'm kind of in a couple of different thought processes right now, but yeah, it's complex issues, and the answer is have an abundance mentality. But how to get to abundance mentality, how to get your basic needs met, how to step up the stepping stone, that's something that I am not really qualified much to help people with. I can say, yeah, here's the answer, but how do you get there? I don't know, because I'm a loudmouth and that's benefited me. I don't know how to help a shy person. I've tried to help shy people get better at getting jobs and stuff. They don't want to go to meetups. They don't want to do this, that, and the other. It's not their personality. It's not the way they feel comfortable. And, you can't tell somebody, well, just feel comfortable about this if it's not part of their inner working. So anyway, hopefully all that kind of comes together in some sort of thought process that makes a little bit of sense. Okay. Also important to figure out what your municipality actually takes seriously, in terms of government and law. What I remember from the episode 1, frequency of maintenance was a flawed metric for stable packages. 2, there should be a way for maintainers to know how to optimize Kind of reminds me of Google's SEO. 3, network requests aren't always bad. Wait, what episode was this? I missed something. Um, sorry. The JavaScript Jabber episode. Sorry, I'm so far behind on between looking at comments and rambling and whatnot. Hello, I'm new to coding. I know nothing about coding, but I want to get into it. Do you know a good way to start learning? Hey, Unpainful. I'm sorry, I was probably rambling on there for a bit. If you're still around, um, I I've gone over this a few times before. I don't really have time to go over it adequately right now because it's past 4 a.m. and I need to get to bed. Um, but the most important thing is to find problems that you are personally interested in solving and solve them for yourself. So if you've got something, there's that you're into sports and you wish you knew how to get um, you know, the score texted to you every 15 minutes during a big game. That's something that's not too hard to write a program to do. There's services and whatnot that are available for a couple dollars a month, say $2 a month or $3 a month. You could write a service that solves this problem for you, integrating with Twilio or was it Next? I forget what it's called. Nexmo. I think they actually got bought by Vonage, which got bought by something else, which got bought by something else. What are they called now? I don't remember. Anyway, so you could buy a phone number and you could have something texted to you. And there's lots of, say you want to scrape a website. You've got some table on Wikipedia that's got some interesting information that you want to look at and you want to get it regularly, learn how to scrape a website. So I always say, don't take it from the perspective of, oh, I want to make money. Although that's, a lot of times that's what it is. And it's not a bad perspective, but that's not what I am really as familiar with. What I'm familiar with is how do you take a problem that you have and then turn it into a problem you can solve. Break it down into a small enough piece that you could solve it. Maybe you can't get to the whole have the thing text you. Maybe you could just get to the part where you scrape some information off of a website or whatever. So that's my information there. I hope that you're able to get some benefit out of that. Okay. That's why that's why it's always important to be willing to hurt yourself. Yeah. Oh, okay, cool. Thanks, Noah, for giving a reference there. I appreciate that. I'll have to check that out too. All right. That's why we provide free breakfast and lunch for our students. Huh. Cool. I'm glad to hear that all tied in. Actually, I was thinking, man, I was going out in left field there, but apparently not. Great. Okay. So what have I got left? I did the PR for this. We were able to get Zig installed everywhere. So I think we're in a good place to stop. So again, thank you for joining in. Like, sub, follow if you want to. If you feel like this was entertaining or good, or you got some nuggets of wisdom or whatever, drop time codes. If there was something in particular you thought, oh, that was a good moment, drop some time codes and you put Josh's name in all caps or something in the comments, and we can pull some of the stuff out into clips perhaps. Yeah, it was really great hanging out with you all tonight. I really appreciated it. I was happy to just have a good code hangout. Yes, had fun watching. I'm so glad. Well, we'll see if I'm on tomorrow night to finish this up. I would like to be, because Monday I would like to get back to some of the Dash work, and I want to be able to use Zig. My goal is just to be able to use the C code, because I had to go through a bunch of layers of C++ code, but Ryan found somebody else to essentially do the same thing, and we basically both arrived at the same conclusion, that there really isn't much code there. It's a lot of C++ wrapper code and classes and just hierarchy crap. But at the end of it all, it looks like it's about 3 to 5 lines of C code. So I'm going to see if I can just get that C code called from a Zig program. And that's kind of where I want to end up at on Monday. So if we can get this wrapped up tomorrow, I'd be pretty happy. And I'd like to go through a couple other Webi issues. So this one, really, we just need to do the Windows installer, which heaven help us. Maybe that won't be too hard. And then the cheat sheet, which I don't know what should go on the cheat sheet. So we might have to get through this PR with a rather light cheat sheet because I don't know enough about Zig to know what should be there. But I had some startings to it in one of the issues. All right. Well, everybody, let's see. I guess y'all all have a good night. Again, it was really enjoyed it. Happy to have y'all here with me for this. And catch you later. Adios.